You're listening to Rodney Rogers Outdoors Radio, where we turn it upside down and look at the outside from the inside out. It's safe, it's legal, and we're having a blast. So put your shoes on, my friend, because we're going outdoors.
Yeah, we got it this time. Welcome to Rodney Rogers Outdoors. I'm Rodney Rogers. That right there is my partner, Coach He's in Crime, Mike the man himself. Mike Hoy, how are you, brother?
I am great, but you know,
I don't.
there comes a moment.
When?
You know, and there comes a time in that workday when you realize you're just no longer going to be productive. I was like at 9:13 this morning for me.
For me, it wasn't long after I arrived that I realized I was not going to be
excited about tonight's show and
productive.
Wow.
We got a call coming. Let's take it right now.
There we go. I'll answer the phone any time of day or night.
Let's do it. Thank you for calling Rodney Rogers Outdoors. This is Rodney.
This is Joe Simonds, Saltstrong.
Joe Simonds, how are you, my man?
Excellent. Is this good time still?
You know what, Joe? Anytime you call this show, it is absolutely perfect timing. We just got cranked up, so you're just in time, my man.
Excellent. And unfortunately, I do not have my partner and brother, Luke Simonds. He had to make a run to the airport real quick for a girlfriend, I believe. But I am here, so you have me. So.
Right on. We got you, Joe. For those of you listening to us live right now on Rodney Rogers Outdoors, we are talking to Joe Simonds. And unfortunately, his brother Luke's not here, so I'm not going to ask about the secret lake that he fishes on the paddleboard. We'll wait for another day for that one. And we're going to.
I have the coordinates.
That's what I'm talking. You know what they say when you're not there to defend your secret
It would have been
spots.
a bad night for him to miss.
Joe, how are you, my brother? Thank you so much for taking our request, man.
Yeah, thank you. I was actually spent the last few minutes watching some of your old ones. You guys do a great job.
Oh.
I love what you're doing.
Thank you so much, man. That means a lot. You're definitely somebody. You know what I realized, Joe, is the Saltstrong feeds come into my YouTube feed, and I'm watching them all the time. And I've watched you say subscribe right here 1,000 times, and I suddenly realized that I hadn't subscribed. So I had to subscribe to your YouTube channel, even though I watch it every day.
Well, we appreciate that, man. We're going to be piling it on this year is the goal. We finally hired our first employee to take a little bit of the just the wear and tear of the stuff that was killing us and taking up so much of our time. So we just hired her, and she just started here in February, and so we will be piling it on. We did shoot probably 4 videos today alone. Nice. So yeah, expect some good stuff. So,
and I'll tell you what, man, on watching Luke doing the paddleboards, I got my first paddleboard. Now I've not put my feet on it yet, Joe, to tell you the truth. I just got it set up. I just got my cooler on it. It looks awesome. Now, can I float on it? That's another question. I haven't ascertained if I could actually stand up on this board yet.
What kind of board did you get?
If you wouldn't have asked me the name, I would have told you. It's a real nice long one, 31 inches wide, 11 feet long, and I'll think the name will hit me as I go along. But it looks like a wooden board, but it's not. It's just you know how they are. But
yeah,
dude,
definitely get one that floats well. My brother is basically on a surfboard. I don't know how the heck he does it.
I don't either.
I can't ride his. It's tough.
I saw him on it, and I'm like, okay, I hope either I need to learn to do it on a bigger board, or he's just really good on a skinny board.
Probably both. He's a freak of nature when it comes to that. He's been surfing his whole life and skimboarding and all that, so it's so natural to him. But most people, I've seen people get on his board and they wipe out. I mean, it's tough, especially fishing when you're trying to cast a rod and you're trying to be creative and get under mangroves and stuff. It's tough, man. It's not an easy thing to do.
It is tough, and that's going to get me into my little set of questions that we've got some viewers that send us some questions, Joe. And of course,
Sure.
Mike and I are absolutely. I want to introduce you to Mike. Mike, this is Joe.
Joe, very glad to meet you.
Ditto, Mike. I know what you look like. I've seen you on your YouTube podcast. So
Awesome.
We've been thrilled to have you on tonight.
So,
no, thank you for having me.
So, Joe, I want to get into the meat and potatoes, man. I mean, obviously, this question's been asked to 1,000 times, and I just want to do a quick synopsis. Mike and I read your full bio, and, man, I was glued to the whole thing. I'm a Polk County boy myself. I'm actually a Haines City boy. But
oh, yeah, Polk County.
The PC, man. Now, you guys do a lot of stuff with the marina right there in Winter Haven. What's the name of that place?
Marine Supply.
Supply. It's
yep.
right on the Winter Haven chain, right?
Oh yeah. I think it's. He'll kill me if I miss. I think it's like May or Lulu, one of those. But it's right there on like Third Street, and neat place. My dad has been. I'm in my upper 30s, and my dad has been buying boats before I was born there. So that thing has been in business like 6 years. Pretty neat little place. A lot of history. So
now you and Joe you and Luke basically just quit your jobs. What's the story there? I mean, what made you pull that trigger? Because you guys had some awesome jobs.
We did. We certainly did. And I enjoyed my job, but I didn't love my job. And I'm willing to bet there's a lot of people out there. I know there are, because most of my friends seem to be that way, where, you just kind of show up for work and it's the same thing. You might not love it, but it pays the bills. And we just had one of those come to Jesus moments where we both talked about it, and we weren't really happy, and we weren't fulfilled, I guess is the better word.
Right.
We weren't really fulfilled, and we didn't see ourselves doing it 10 years from now. So we're like, well, why in the world are we still doing it? Right. And it happened and a night, and we were in Chicago at a marketing meeting, a conference there, and we were both split in a room, and we were just sitting there having a beer and talking about it. We're like, let's just do this. And we talked about having some kind of saltwater fishing company. We didn't know what it was going to look like. We didn't know what it was going to be called, and we were. I have it still written down. We'll have to pull it out someday. We were writing out all these different names that we were going to buy in terms of domain and what we're going to start. And we had some goofy ones. And finally, Saltstrong. My brother actually said it first. We were talking about all kinds of saltwater things, and he said, "Saltstrong, let's see if it's available." And it was. We went to GoDaddy, and it was available.
Nice.
For the $12 or whatever it cost, and that kind of kicked it off. And then after that, man, it was just a lot of doors just happened to open at the right time, and we were able to sell. We had one little company that we were running, and we were able to sell that to a group that was just a perfect fit for it. And we signed our non-competes with them and passed it off on December 26th or something. It was right after Christmas. It was between Christmas and New Year's. And then, January 1st, we kicked off Saltstrong, and that was of 2015. So we're only a year and a couple of months old, and it's been a really crazy it's been a crazy year, I guess is the only way to say it.
You know what? You guys have seemed to super take off. You know what I mean? Which is phenomenal. When you see guys doing this, like you guys, or we're trying to get the wings to get the flying, and it's just so refreshing to see that take off so well, man. I'm super happy for you guys.
Thank you. And as you know, it's a lot of work, and it's consistent work, right? I mean, it's the same with your podcast. Is this episode 100 and something, right? I mean, it's you got to be consistent. You got to keep bringing it, and you just get a little better every time, and you get a little bit more following every time, and it's exciting to see something grow like that. So
absolutely. Now, where are you guys wanting? I mean, now you said you didn't see that in 10 years, your old jobs. Do you see this in 10 years? I mean, is this something that you see and you go, man, I'm excited where this is going to be in 10 years?
Yeah, absolutely. Who knows what it will look like in 10 years? Right. I wish I had a crystal ball, but for sure. I mean, we want to be in this industry. I mean, it's tough to put a price tag. I'm not making the kind of money I want to, honestly, and I don't mind candidly telling that publicly. Because I tell everyone I know when they ask, I'm very open about it, but it's tough to put a price tag on right now. I mean, I'm in my shorts, and that's what I wore to work today. And before I was in the financial services, and it was just kind of a stuffy, boring job, and you had to put suits on a lot, and it was never me. And it's tough to put a price tag on that. But on the flip side, I see us making more money than we ever have before. I really do
absolutely.
down the road, just because the momentum and because you're in just such a neat environment with people who are really passionate about what they do, and just so many opportunities, right?
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, who knows all the different things that you can get into, and I followed a lot of these other companies out there. From some of the big motor companies to even like Yeti and the coolers, and just reading all their stories about how it's evolved over the years. And I'm sure that will happen with us.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. We did that, and we read, and I'm like, what we liked about this business, and I'm sure you can iterate this, is you never know where that next turn is, but when you get around it, it is absolutely exciting.
Oh, yes.
Now, I noticed, man, obviously reading through you have fished pretty much all over the world, man. I mean, so why, one of our viewer questions is, why did the Simonds choose the West Coast instead of the East Coast? I think I know why, reading your bio, obviously. But, if you'll just give a shot to our listeners, I mean, all over the world you fished, why the West Coast of Florida?
That's a really good question, and I don't know if I have the answer to it. But I have fished all over the world. I was very blessed. That was one of the perks of my old job, is I got to go all over the place and entertain people. And I'm talking Australia and New Zealand, Mexico, Hawaii. I mean, literally all over the world. And we had a condo actually it was my grandfather had a condo on Daytona Beach, so that was where I really learned saltwater fishing. And we loved it there. And even Luke lived in Melbourne and did a lot of tournaments there in that Melbourne, Indian, Atlantic, Sebastian area, and loved it. But something just kept bringing us back over here. And I don't know if it was the people. I think it is. For some reason, we just got along better. And a lot of our friends ended up moving over here, and family members and extended family members. So I don't know. I would, if you told me I could move anywhere else, I probably wouldn't. I mean, I love Tampa. It's great people, and cost of living is not that bad compared, especially if you start getting over by, down south, Florida, like Miami and Fort Lauderdale and West Palm Beach, et cetera. So I love it. I really do love Tampa.
I'll tell you, I cut my teeth in spearfishing under a bridge in Boca Grande when the old phosphate pier used to be out there.
Yeah,
seems like 100 years ago. Here's a question from me, and I know Mike and I have. Do you guys have a role? So you got you and Luke in this thing. I mean, do you guys have roles like Luke does the fishing, Joe does this, or Luke does that? I mean, do you guys have that role, or do you just kind of fill in where you need it, or? Because I noticed what I see is a Luke doing the paddleboard thing, and you guys obviously teaming up on the snook thing. Do you have that role? Because I know Mike and I do.
Yeah, and we have to. And just being completely honest, Luke's a better fisherman than me, and I will. And everyone knows that he was one of those kids that was just gifted. We grew up in Winter Haven, as you mentioned, in Polk County, and he was that kid that was up fishing at 5 a.m. we lived on a little lake there, Lake Link and Lake Otis. It's a three lake chain.
Yeah.
And he was up fishing every single morning before high school. I mean, most kids were trying to sleep in and get every ounce of sleep they could. And it was just him. He was out catching lunkers, and I was the one sleeping in. And so he's always been so good. And so to answer your question, yes, he is the expert, if you will, the guy that we do most of the how-tos. And I love more the writing and the promotions and the marketing end of it. I'm a pretty good angler, and I will give my brother a lot of credit. It's mostly because of him. It's like going out with a guide.
Right.
You get a lot better, and I just watch what he does. I watch what lures he's picking and where he's casting, and I catch a ton of fish, mostly because of him.
Right.
If I go out by myself, I don't catch as much. But when I'm with him, he's just got that magic touch. But yeah, we definitely split up the roles, and even on just the business side of things, we split it up. He's more the engineer, and that's probably why he's very patient angler, and I'm more the kind of the president and running the thing. So he's doing all the back end stuff and all the email marketing and all the stuff that goes behind the scenes that really takes a lot of detail and a lot of patience, and I'm more just the visionary, big picture guy. So it's worked out well. We're a good team, and definitely have some different strengths that we play to.
That's awesome. I kind of saw that. I mean, it's pretty apparent. I was interested in myself because I know Mike and I have that role because Mike's never done this in his life, and then here we are. I elk hunt, I turkey hunt, I gator hunt, I do. I fish offshore, inshore. I mean, it's just a plethora of things that we do. So it's kind of that same role. So I was kind of interested. Real quick,
you're the man's man, and Mike's trying to get his man card, right? Is that what I read?
Slowly.
We went to the Everglades.
I've got a punch or two.
We went to the Everglades one year, and I look over, and he's zonked out and his mouth open, and I took a picture of him and posted it and said, "Oh, almost had that man card."
Yeah.
So, now the Wounded Warrior Project. Now I see you guys are really involved in that. What made you get involved in that? Is there someone in your life, or you're like, this is a good thing we need to do, or what kind of how'd you really fall in that?
Yeah, that was an interesting one. We knew we wanted to do something right off the bat, and we didn't really know what. And all of our uncles and grandfathers, everyone for the most part has been at some point in the military. We didn't really have anyone who was a truly wounded warrior that would have qualified for it, but just always thought the world of them. And when Luke and I were just reflecting on the decision and what we did, we were just thankful for all the people that are out there busting their butt. And, and we take it for granted the fact that I, can come home and hang out with my wife and daughters every night. And I've got a lot of friends that have, fought and are fighting, and they might not see their wife and kids for 5, 6 months, 11 months in some cases. So we wanted to give back, and the opportunity arose where we could take out a wounded warrior, and we just created an over the top experience for him, and got him on his first snook and redfish and trout, and just had a blast.
Absolutely.
I don't know what we're going to do this year though. Our youngest brother, if you remember in part of my bio, he's got cerebral palsy, and so he's in a wheelchair and it has been his whole life. And that's another thing that we want to try to focus on this year is kids with CP, and just going and creating cool experiences with them, because they were the kids like my brother. He never got to be a part of a team,
right?
He never got to go out hunting and fishing the stuff that we did, just because he was completely disabled. And so and now with technology and even the technology in the wheelchairs and stuff, it's so much more accessible. You can get them in a lot of cool places where they can go fishing and even hunting. And there's a lot of hunting groups out there that will take disabled kids and disabled adults. And so that'll probably be one of the bigger initiatives of this year. So might see us change it up a little bit.
I'll be excited to see that, man. That is absolutely awesome. Now, looking back, reading your bio, something got me a little excited. And tell me about your Gasparilla high five. I read how this got started, and I'm like, okay, well, there's a good time just going absolutely bonkers there. Do you guys still do that? Is that something? It sounds like something that's just hard to stop.
We do still do it. We actually took our first break ever this past year, and that was really because I was moving down to Tampa with a wife and 2 young girls, and we had started Saltstrong, and we just didn't have time.
Right.
Ironically, we were down in Gasparilla, Boca Grande. You probably saw our music video. We go there quite a bit.
That's our next question.
But we didn't do it with a true event. But here's how it got started. Luke and I and 2 of our best friends in college, we started it in the year 2000. And we went to Little Gasparilla Island. It sounds like you're very familiar with the area. And we went down there and stayed in a little house, a little 2-bedroom house on stilts, and just had a blast and caught a ton of fish. We're there for a full 7 days. And, 4 guys, though, after about day 2 or 3, you start looking around and you're like, whoa,
what do we
the
do?
only thing that'd be cool if there were some girls here.
Right.
And so... Yeah, we had plenty of beer and we had plenty of food and fish, but we didn't have any girls. So the next year we invited a couple girls, and the party grew to about 10 or 11. And then the next year, people started talking about it, and then it grew to like 15 or 16. It just kept growing. It got to the point. It got up to 75 people on Little Gasparilla Island, and that was three houses in one of those condos, and You've been there, so you can respect this.
I call that
People
a logistical nightmare.
Amen. It was the biggest nightmare ever. And so for you listeners that have not been to Gasparilla Island, it is only accessible by boat, especially where we were. And what people don't realize is that means everything has to go over by boat, rain or shine, no matter what the weather is and the waves. And oh my gosh. So we had people coming in from Atlanta. We had people coming from LA. We had a girl coming over from Switzerland. And it was just a girl from Chicago. It was just crazy. People were coming in, and they might get in at midnight. And so that means someone had to get in the boat and take them over. And of course, down there, everything closes early. So they'd show up completely empty-handed, no food, no beer. And so the next morning we have to take them back, and it got out of control.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, when we finally hit 75, the next year, we talked about just shutting it down. And everyone's like, you can't shut it down. And so we moved it to Boca Grande, to the Big Island, where we could all drive and people could be responsible for their own stuff. And that was a game changer. Yeah. So we rented out a couple big houses there and a couple little condos in Turtle Bay or one of those colonies there. And we had such a good time. And then kids, we were all kind of our mid 30s at this point, young 30s. And so kids started to come to the equation. So we had pregnant women there and kids started showing up, and that changed the dynamics a little bit.
Yes.
But we still managed to have a really good time, and we still always went down to South Beach and dressed up. And if you saw the bio, there might have been one of the videos, and I don't know if the videos are still there or not, but there's a video of us. We show up to South Beach on just a random Saturday night, and the Boca band's playing down there, and we would show up all without even notifying them, just 35, 40, 50 people completely dressed up, and you should see the locals were like, what in the world just happened? And, we tore it up.
Now, when you say dressed up,
I'm talking the craziest Halloween costumes you can imagine.
Well, Mike had asked me, what do you mean dressed up? I said, you probably ought to ask that one to Joe.
Yeah, we were dressed up where it looked like it was Halloween on August, because we usually did it around Labor Day. It was either 4th of July or Labor Day. We'd go back and forth.
That's
so,
awesome.
Yeah, everyone else was in, shorts and flip-flops, the normal Boca Grande attire, and we showed up and showed them a little party. So
yeah, I tell you.
So who knows? I think this year we'll definitely reinstate it. Probably Labor Day is what we're talking about, and we'll invite you guys and maybe have to do a big podcast and
that
get
would
some
be awesome.
Publicity for it.
I can tell you we'll be there. That's for sure, man. Well, that's for sure. We don't want to monopolize your whole night. I just got one. What's your philosophy? I mean, I also want just a little synopsis on your video. The video we've got up on our website. If you're listening to Riding Rogers Outdoors, you can check it out. It's our, video of the week.
It's our video week that's actually become like the video of the month. I've just kind of left it there because I really enjoy it.
It's absolutely amazing. And you can tell us in the same time. I mean, you've got a phenomenal philosophy that I can see so far. You're teaching the world to fish. It's absolutely amazing. You guys, Luke actually taught me the FG knot, and I swear by that knot now. And I teach it at Bass Pro Shops when I do.
That's great.
Our thing at the Bass Pro Shop. So it has definitely became one of my knots. Now this video, what sparked that? I mean, that is an absolute awesome video. I mean, whose idea was that? That's great home run right there.
Yeah, I'll give credit where credit is due. It all started with a phone call from Sarah Michaels. Do you know her?
Sarah Michaels, 97 Country.
You got it. Yep. So I grew up with Sarah Michaels, and we've known each other a long, long, long time. And she's a big fan of Saltstrong, and she was one of the first ones to have a hat and wears it in the studio a lot.
Nice.
So she called me and said, "You got to hear this song." And I heard it, and I got like goosebumps because it was. I mean, you've heard the lyrics, and even though they've been changed a little bit to fit Saltstrong and more saltwater, but it was more of a bass fishing song. Everything else is the exact same. And she's like, "You got to hear this." And this guy who I actually haven't met him yet, but we bought the rights from him. His name's Captain John Gunner. He's another Polk County boy as well. And we're friends on Facebook and stuff, so I know what he looks like, but I've actually never met him. But we talked, and he had written the song and never really, did that much with it. And we told him what we wanted to do, and we wanted to have Jill's Cashbox re-record it and we wanted to produce it. And we all agreed on a fair number, and we, all of a sudden bought the rights to the song, changed it up a little bit, and had Joe's Cashbox record it. And then we went down to Boca Grande and recorded that video. And yeah, it was just awesome. It hit a lot of chords, and from all the feedback that we've heard, it hit a lot of chords with people that,
Absolutely.
that were out there fishing with their dad. And of course, it was a little bit emotional one for him, because I believe he did lose his dad. And so that was what the song was kind of about. Hey, I wish you were still here today. And, and kind of telling about fishing stories. But yeah, it was just an awesome, awesome song. And it does tie in with our mantra. We've changed our business model a couple of times, but the one thing that we've never changed is, just the one theme is teaching the world how to fish. And I think, and I don't know if you guys agree with me, I know you guys do a lot of teaching. I love the video when you abducted those kids.
Oh, nice.
But I think one of the threats that people are missing in terms of the future of fishing in general, not just saltwater. And there's a lot of people that want to blame government, especially all this Lake Okeechobee stuff. But
right.
I mean, one of the bigger threats is just not enough people teaching. And, unfortunately, there's tons of dads out there that are now divorced and just don't have time with their kids, and maybe their dads never taught them. And I mean, the longer that keeps happening, that kind of cycle happens, it's just less and less kids that even know how to fish. And I feel like that was a problem. And I really like that guy Fluke Master, because he has this same mentality. He's like, I just woke up one day and realized none of the talking heads on TV were really teaching. They were all just kind of entertaining and trying to make money. Like, no one was really out there hardcore teaching. And you guys do an awesome job. I know you mentioned, teaching stuff at Bass Pro, and we are really good on the internet. And so we just wanted to reach a new audience that we knew was out on the internet, and try to make it fun for them, and still teach them and encourage them to get onto the water. So long story short, the song just tied in perfect for it. And we hope to do another one. I don't know when that will happen, but we'd love to do a similar one. And we have an idea for the song. It's just a matter of making the logistics happen.
Yeah.
That was that took a lot, and it was well worth it, though.
And you definitely hit it right on the head. I mean, I've never heard it put that way, and you are absolutely 100% right. And, Mike and I started what we do literally 9 years ago, and we're just starting getting some legs, and a lot of people, think it's taken off overnight, and this has been a 9-year trek for us. We went down a lot of avenues to get where we're at today, and seeing that video and some of your spots, I have fished there as a kid. You know what I mean?
Cool.
So that when I saw that video and that song, it really hit home, man. And I'm telling you, it's absolutely one of my favorites. So, I mean, kudos to you guys, and home run right there in my book.
I've got a question
appreciate you sharing it.
for Joe real quick. Hey, what's your general feeling about sharing fishing holes? I'm not asking because I want to know, but just the philosophy.
Yeah.
I've heard that. I've heard you talk about that on your podcast, and we have talked that. I'm just curious, you personally, where do you stand on?
Yeah, I'm probably in a different camp than a lot of these guys, and I of course I want to state first and foremost, I don't make a living off of fishing holes.
Right.
And so I can understand how some guys that do could be a little bit ticked off, but for the average weekend warrior that gets mad and is trying to throw stuff at people and cussing and just getting irate about it, I mean, no one owns the fishing holes, and I don't think there's that many completely hidden spots, especially with Google Earth and especially inshore. I mean, you can just there's only so many places you can go and hide. So we just don't worry about that. We've never ever blacked out anything in the back. Meaning the background, we show stuff in our videos. Now we do have one place. I won't even tell you what city it's in, but it's the one place my brother does not really want cameras. And just because it is a special place that we've been going since kids,
that's cool.
And a lot of people know about it, but it's just not overfished,
right?
And it's really easy to get to, and so that's just the one place. But
that's cool.
And then again, we see people there all the time, and who cares? It's just life goes on. I don't really get I don't get worked up about that kind of stuff. But once again, if I was a guide, I could be. Here's what I would be. I would be ticked off if I was a guide and I took people out that were pretty good anglers and they took advantage of it and just took all my spots. I would get mad about that.
Right.
That would be the one reason I might get mad about a spot. So
Yeah, I mean, people can go to our website, and when I fish, when I just grab my canoe or something like that, and I find a hole that anyone can get to, I tag myself in it, and I say, look, here's what I used. Here was the conditions. Now, the only time I don't do that is when someone says, hey, I want to take you fishing, because in my feelings, it's their spot, and it's not my right to give it I
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
exactly.
But if I find it on my own,
yeah.
I'm more than happy to share it. That's just, I had this one guy get mad at me because we were fishing a spot, and 12 hours earlier, there was no water whatsoever in the same spot. So I'm like, dude, 12 hours ago, this was dry land. We're not stealing your fish. That's just how it works. So, Joe, man, I mean, we could literally ask you 10 million questions. I don't want to absorb your whole night, and I can't thank you enough. And I know Mike will feel the same way when I say if you guys ever need us for anything, a charitable event, or just something, some waves to throw out there, we are definitely would love to be a part of whatever you guys, got going on or whatever. We're definitely there.
Absolutely. We'll make it happen. We as I think you pointed out, Mike, we literally just started our podcast just a few weeks ago, and so we'll have to have you on. We're learning the ropes. This is kind of cool for me to be interviewed, especially, and we've only done 6 of them, and it's kind of not nerve-wracking, but it's just different when you've never done one, and you got to have the questions ready. And it's we'd love to treat you guys on our podcast where all you have to do is just show up and have fun. So
I've listened to every one of them.
We'll make that happen.
Listen to every one of them, and I really appreciate the way you kind of lift others up. And I've already started following 2 or 3 other podcasts and YouTube channels just from listening to your show and some of these people you've turned us on to. So
yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're big podcasters, man. We love to hear that end of the game. And if you ever find yourself in Orlando, Joe, you and Luke, we've got chairs for you. We've got we've got beer.
Rodney's always got extra fishing poles in the back of his truck too,
and we'll slam them.
Got it. Well, that's easy. That's only an hour away from us. We'll have to do that.
Well, good deal, Joe. Again, give Luke our condolences. Tell him that we said hey. I mean, he's, believe it or not, I mean, I've been doing this all my life, and he's taught me some things. And I always said, if you're done learning, you're done. So, thank you for being on our show, man. We can't thank you enough, Joe.
Yeah, thank you guys, and I'll be in touch soon about getting you on our show and talk about some events too. We do have some ideas. I won't talk about them here on the air, but we got some cool ideas, and love to get you guys involved and connected with us.
Absolutely.
It's been an honor.
Thank you, Joe. We appreciate it, buddy.
Thanks, Rodney. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Joe, very much, man.
Bye-bye. Woo, that's what I'm talking, Mike. Right off the bat, we get into the meat and potatoes. That's how we like it. Just pow, there we are.
All right, it's a wrap.
It's a wrap. I love it. Are we done? Should we just?
I thoroughly enjoyed that.
That was awesome. I mean, I've got. There's so many questions I've got here. I could literally use the whole.
One thing I actually like about that. Now, I think their podcast is the Fish Strong.
Strong.
They've got Saltstrong and Fish Strong, but I think the podcast, if you're looking for, is actually under Fish Strong. And again, we'll post this podcast, and I'll put links to these so everybody can feed on them. But one thing I like is their podcast is that their podcast is talking to people who are fish captains and who are fishing and who are doing different things in the fishing world. And it's like we were talking about earlier. It's just entertaining to hear people engage in this kind of conversation that we love.
That we do.
When you love the outdoors and the fishing and the hunting so much, you're going to talk about it anyways.
Right.
So to find a podcast that is just people talking about it, and you find new people to watch on YouTube and subscribe to their podcast.
That's how it works.
I'm an information junkie when it comes to that stuff.
And I'll tell you what I like about. I mean, obviously, these guys is when you watch their videos, they're not in $1 million offshore boat teaching you these tricks. They're not. It's just exactly minding your philosophy.
I hate to tell you this, but we're not either.
Exactly. That's my point.
I'm not saying I wouldn't want to be Rodney, but
I mean that's my point. I mean, I watch Luke. Luke's got me excited off this paddleboard.
Yeah.
And his is technically not even a fishing paddleboard, and he's out there pushing that thing to the absolute limit.
Well,
and
see, the thing that scares me is this.
Okay.
I fear The 2016 might be the year that you gator hunt on a paddleboard.
You see it coming, don't
I
you,
do.
Mike?
And I need a solid boat to do the videography from, because I don't want to. I
We
don't
are
want to do
building-
my videography from another paddleboard, because I just see this.
Yes, we are building your platform.
Make sure your life insurance policy is paid
So,
up and your kids are taken care of.
Welcome to Rodney Rogers Outdoors. We started the show off with a rocket, and I love it.
It's hard to compete with that. Maybe we should take just a quick moment.
Let's do it.
Let our sponsors have a word or two, and go from there.
Let's do it. I'm in.
With 116,000 foreclosures in the state of Florida alone as of January 2014, a quality contractor is critical to the process of returning a foreclosed house back into a home. Let me introduce you to Phillips Contracting Incorporated. They are Florida State certified and an approved REO repair vendor for both Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. PCI currently provides multi-level services to realtors, banks, asset managers, and private homeowners. Although they specialize in dealing with REO property repairs, they are a design-build company.
Here at PCI, we pride ourselves on professional, high-quality work. Our clients know that we're not your typical contractor. We're proud to be reliable, trustworthy partners with you. Our repair coordinators are ready to communicate with you honestly and quickly about every aspect of your project. We're here to say yes to our clients.
Phillips Contracting services Florida from Orlando to Miami. Whether you're looking for a quote, repair updates, or just want to talk business, give them a call at 941-483-3800.
Gnarly barley, come see why the whole world's singing.
What are you doing?
Dude, I am writing a song for Gnarly Barley.
I see that, but first of all, I didn't realize you could sing. Second of all, why don't you just tell the people how great the Gnarly Barley is, give them the address, and move on with the show?
Dude, have you ever had their flatbread? Their jalapeno flatbread with the cream cheese on top and the chicken and the special sauce on it. Holy moly. No, wait a minute. Obviously, by the look on your face, you ain't never had that big time fiesta. Jalapenos, provolone cheese, tomatoes, red onions, and again, fiesta lime.
Okay,
right?
that's it. Shut up, Chubb. We're out of here.
Are you serious?
Come on, we're out of here.
Truly one of Orlando's hidden gems, the Gnarly Barley offers a contemporary selection of bites and brews, serving a mind-blowing selection of craft beers and original mouth-watering menu creations. The Gnarly Barley and its incredibly accommodating staff have created a place that really is difficult to put into words. So do yourself a huge favor and come see why people are singing the praises of the Gnarly Barley.
Oh, my goodness.
I told you that big time fiesta.
That is phenomenal. I totally get why you're trying to write a song for that.
Not as simple as you thought, huh?
No. Okay, check this out. Gnarly Barley.
Come see why the whole town's singing
Gnarly Barley. Buy some brews. Located at 7431 South Orange Avenue in Orlando.
Yeah, back live. You're watching us live on Rodney Rogers Outdoors. Who knows where you're watching us? Google Play. You could be running 100 different directions to get to us. Hey, Mike, I just want to point out we got the new Outside Opinions video up with Ivan Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Phenomenal job. High five to you, man.
High five to you.
Good job, brother.
High five to Ivan.
High five to Ivan. Yeah, Ivan made us look good.
Yeah.
Ivan made us look good.
And I'm going to put the information on the website, because we want more of that.
Yes.
We want more of the listeners, viewers. If you've got gear, we want to play with it.
Absolutely. And
Rodney
gadgets.
wants to play and gadgets.
And gadgets.
Rodney wants to play with it. I want to videotape it.
If you watched all the way to the end of the video, you get to watch us doing our little thing where we freak people out on a dock. So I just want to punch that little thing out there. Awesome review. He reviewed the Glock 22. Awesome job, Ivan. We can't thank you enough. I got to get Ivan a shirt. We got some new larges coming in.
Oh, good.
Extra
Good.
larges. He needs an extra large, so we're going to get him a shirt for sure. And Mike, just to get caught up, man, we're like moving.
We're moving and shaking.
We're what we call shaking the movers.
What do you want to talk about? You want to talk about top stories?
Look, give us some top stories.
What are you thinking? You sound hesitant there.
Where are you at? Where are you thinking?
I'm
Our
thinking-
mojo's off.
No, Mojo's as good as it's going to get,
Good
Rodney.
as it's ever going to
Yeah,
be.
let's talk some top stories. I'm going to retitle this FWC section the Spotlight on the Man, I believe,
So,
right?
Exactly. So we have a new section called Spotlight on the Man.
Who's the man, Rodney?
The man is the Popo, the better known as the Florida Wildlife Commission. When you see the guy walking up, everybody goes, "There's the man."
There's the man.
Marine Patrol or FWC, you know they're coming at you to check your license. Make sure you're 100% legit. In case you're not legit, you're going to read it right here on the Rodney Rogers Outdoors. Mike, what do we have?
Well, you know what, and it's more than that. I mean, we could start with that. Let's start with that.
Okay.
Every week I read one of the FWC's law enforcement stories of the week.
Right.
And they put out this week this report. It's bi-weekly, and for me, it's much like reading as a pilot the accident reports where things go wrong, but strictly from a learning perspective. Because the more you see how other people have made their mistakes, you learn from that and you grow from other people's mistakes. So that's
exactly right.
really what it's all about. And so this is a very educational report that they put out. This week says an officer at church made contact with 3 individuals fishing in a pond in Delray Beach along the turnpike. And this is interesting to me because we've done this. We've done this, and we've talked about fishing along. I'm always asking you, can you do that? Matter of fact, we did this last weekend.
And we got pulled over by a state trooper.
We,
but anyway, go ahead.
We met a
We'll talk
popo. We
about
did.
that.
And it says, while conducting a fishery inspection. But my point is, even when you're fishing alongside of the road,
Absolutely.
here comes the man. One of the individuals was found to be in possession of 15 black bass.
Okay.
10 over the legal limit. Officer Church explained the violation to the individual and issued a citation for possession of over the bag limits of black bass. So nothing fancy, very straightforward, but I did find this one interesting because you've got the FWC stopping along the highway. So,
Exactly.
So doesn't matter if you're in a boat, if you got your reel in the, if you're dangling your rod in the water.
Yeah.
The
You're
FWC,
subject to, absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. So, but yeah, we did some fishing along the side of the highway last week.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you're subject to, remember, your limits. When you read your FWC limits, that there's a blanket limit for the state of Florida. You also need to know what county you're in because there may be a county limit. If you're fishing for Swanee bass, black bass, largemouth bass, you need to know these limits.
So that is by county. I had this conversation this
Yes.
week, and I knew that like West Coast, East Coast, when you're saltwater fishing, those can change.
Yes.
But even for freshwater, it does change by county.
Absolutely. It does change by county. Like Lake Toho is considered a fishery management area, so you can't keep bass over 24 inches. You can only keep one over 24 inches. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it ain't like you can throw 5 10-pounders in your boat, take them home and fillet them. They don't allow that. That's a no-no.
Okay.
So keep track, because remember we got a fish change coming up. We got July 1st.
The bass.
We got
right.
the Florida the black bass is going to no limit as far as small size. The minimum will be no minimum limit. There'll still be an over limit, meaning 24 or over you cannot keep. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So keep track of that. It's easy.
I thought it went from 14 to 12 inches.
Yeah, right now it's 14 to 12.
Okay.
Some lakes are 12, some
Okay.
lakes are...
Okay.
The overall blanket for Florida is 14 inches.
Okay.
Now, some lakes only minimum is 12, some minimum is 14, so
Okay.
you need to know where you're fishing at and check those rules
Okay.
because, there again, they don't haul you off to jail. They don't give you this ridiculous... They go over the laws. Here's the laws for this area because it can get confusing.
Now, again, if you're practicing catch and release, then
you've got no worries.
Then you've got no worries.
You're golden, and that's what I do. I practice catch and release, and that's all I do.
How many did you catch this weekend?
I caught 32 bass total for the weekend. That's I jammed them out, Mike.
You were catching left. What was it? Was it Saturday? It was Sunday.
Sunday, and I was saying, look, right by that weed, here's what I look for.
Well, before that, you're posting these on Facebook because you've got a goal for this year, right?
I do have a goal for this year, inspired by Amy.
Yes.
Our follower, Amy, is 356 bass for the year. That's one fish a day. I'm currently at 64. So
356?
Yes, 365.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I'm thinking you take it 4 days off.
I got
there,
verbal dyslexia.
9 days off.
I got verbal dyslexia. So my goal is 365 bass. I don't see a problem. I mean,
Well, not at the rate you're going now. You could take the next 3 weeks off.
yeah,
I think.
Once this spring hits, it's going to be
Okay,
fish
so
on.
you're stocking up for the winter.
Absolutely.
But you were slamming them, and I saw this on Facebook, and I literally told my wife, I said, let's go catch up with Rodney because he's hooked up.
Yeah.
I said, let's get our fishing poles and let's go find him, and we did, which didn't turn out so well for us.
Well, you know what? There's it's the key to learning to fish is to get to know your rod. I mean, it really is. Once you understand your rod direction, cast, distance, depth. I mean, these are some of the key clues.
Well, here, I mean, it is a perfect example because here's how this played out. So there's 3 of us now standing alongside of the highway.
Right.
We all had poles. We ran them in the water, and Rodney's catching consistently. And I think I started off with a grub, and you had a
you
lure.
had a spinnerbait. No, yeah, you did have the grub.
You hooked me up with the grub first.
And I had a spinnerbait.
Kim's not catching anything. I'm not catching anything. You're catching things. And we were alternating. So we were all moving up the bank.
Right.
One ahead of the other. We were leapfrogging.
Right.
So there was no kind of monopoly on banks.
Position.
Yeah, position. And then after 2 or 3, you're like, Mike, you want to use this one? I'm like, yes, I want to catch. Give me the magic lure.
Give me the magic lure.
And son of a gun, Rodney. We swapped. I mean, I watched your hands. There was nothing up your sleeves. The whole time we swapped.
Yeah.
Now, my wife didn't change anything, and she continued to not catch as much as she was not catching before.
But she was getting better on her cast.
She was getting better on her cast. But you and I swapped. I still didn't catch anything, and you kept catching. Yeah. I mean, I think you caught probably 12 with the time that we were together for a couple hours.
Right.
And we changed lakes, same thing.
Yeah.
I think your first cast in, you caught one, and we skunked out.
That's the key. It's depth, and these are the little things where experience comes in. I mean, if that makes any sense.
I think that is proof that there is technique, experience.
Yeah.
There's something beyond just dangling your pole in the water.
Well, if it's any consolation, Monday morning I took Alexis fishing and she beat me.
Really?
So, I mean, it's just that thing, we were fishing with a spinnerbait.
I don't exactly consider her a newbie. She's
right.
She's
so yeah, I mean, so it's that position. I don't even know how to explain.
So it made me want to throw my suggestion in the hat for podcast topics.
Okay.
Working a lure.
That's actually a great.
Can I throw that out there?
Let's do that.
I'd like to do an episode on working a lure.
We'll put that in the show notes.
Okay.
So yeah, and it was a blast. I caught a ton of fish this weekend. Definitely, it's just so many. Like Steve just said, there's so many factors: speed, depth, action, presentation. So all that comes into factor. So we'll talk about that.
Okay.
Mike, do we have any mail? We got any good mail?
We do have mail. Rodney, I'm so glad you asked.
Let's have some mail.
We get letters. We get stuff.
Whoa, yes, wait a minute, Mr. Postman.
Send me an email with all the details.
That's what I'm talking.
Another freaking email song.
Mail time.
Top flight, hold you tight, get you there by daylight, do you right overnight mail.
There you go, Rodney.
And there we have it. That's my favorite part of the show, by the way.
I don't mean to be picky, but it's not really meant to be a sing-along.
Oh, okay.
But, I mean,
I'm done. I'll never do it again.
Calling you on a technicality, but
I got you.
Rodney, our first viewer mail is from Massachusetts, believe it or not, Rodney.
Massachusetts?
Massachusetts. Spell Massachusetts. No, don't.
Massachusetts.
Period. MASS period. I fish small waters from a belly boat. I guess that's float tube.
Oh, yes.
This is Greg from Massachusetts, and he says, I can carry one rod due to limitations. I use a snap for ease of changing lures to various conditions. Okay. When using spinnerbaits, most of today's models have an open eye or a line connector, which you should tie directly onto, as with a snap.
Yes.
The lure slides up the spinnerbait arm when casting. Okay. My question is this: is there a product on the market today which can close the open eye? I'll read this carefully, Rodney. So that's his question. I usually tie a piece of thin mono around the loop to close it off, but this is fairly ineffective.
Yeah. I can tell you how to fix that right now.
Tell me how to fix it.
Take your needle nose pliers, close that eye shut.
Explain to me what he's talking about.
Okay, so here's a spinnerbait has it's hard to. I wish I had one right here that we could look at. So basically, a spinnerbait is a long wire and a blade. The wire just has a bend where remember the spinnerbait you tied on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
If you can picture that, right where the string ties, it's just an open loop. There's no eye there. There's no completed circle.
Okay.
It's just open like this. So when the string's tied, it actually floats in either direction. So when he puts a swivel on, it floats super easy. So he puts a piece of string to try to stop that swivel.
I see.
What I used to do is basically, because I used to use the swivel, I would first recommend get rid of the swivel, hand tie it, and just be done with it. But if you insist on that swivel, clamp it. Clamp your eye completely closed, and then bend your wire to adjust for the clamp. That's the easiest way to do it. And that way your swivel won't slide down in any direction. So you're just going to clamp right there at the eye. Just clamp it shut, leaving nothing but an eye, and your swivel won't ride in either direction. I would recommend quit using a swivel.
Interesting.
But if you're going to use that swivel, that's the best way to do it. And they do make spinnerbaits that have twisted eyes. You can also look for those. You know.
So maybe not necessarily a product to do that, but there's spinnerbaits with the twisted eye on it.
It just need a little adjustment. Okay. And, it doesn't hurt to adjust those and rebend them back in their shape. It doesn't hurt them at all or affect the action.
Okay.
So that's what I would recommend. But there's no product.
All right. Greg from West Monroe, Louisiana, Rodney, says, what's Greg say? Would a bass be drawn to the sounds like from a dog whistle? I heard that sharks are.
I'm going to go no on either one. That's
No, yeah.
I've never tried that one. I would, hey, you know what?
I don't know.
You never know. Take a dog whistle, and you would have thought I had a dog whistle the other day, right?
I mean, I thought you did. Yeah. Again, you didn't have anything up your sleeves, but you had something. There was something going on there. That's all I'm saying.
Something going on. It was definitely some fishiness.
Okay. Last question. This is actually inspired, I believe, by the Ivan video, the Glock video. This is from @SlamminJammin'.
Slammin' Jammin'.
Wants to know.
Oh, man.
I love these names.
They got that one. No wonder I didn't get it.
Slammin' Jammin'. Slam Jammin'. Not Slammin' Jammin'. Slam Jammin'. Can I dry fire my Glock pistol?
Sure. 1,000 times. Absolutely. When you dry fire your Glock pistol, it affects the trigger pull. The firing pin 0. Not at all.
So that means firing, like practicing without anything in the chamber, without.
Yes. A matter of fact, I recommend it on. Definitely. So make sure your gun is empty, your clip is out. I will tell you, those bullets, they're unforgiving when they're misfired.
Yeah.
They'll shoot through everything. So be sure your clip is empty. Always make sure it's empty. Now, if you're unfamiliar with it, buy the snap caps at any Bass Pro. Walmart has them sometimes, and of course, Dick's Sporting Goods. All the sporting goods store has snap caps that you can put in there if you're not comfortable with it. But yeah, dry fire your Glock.
Now, he's asking specifically on a Glock, but is that true with any gun that you can dry fire like that?
It's not true with any gun. Some guns you cannot dry fire because springs start snapping and things start giving. So, you definitely, Steve, 1,000,000 times. So, some guns you just don't want to dry fire. So, definitely check the manufacturer's recommendations. Glock highly recommends it. It doesn't hurt them at all.
Okay.
So, and it's have at it. I recommend it to get used to the trigger pull. Please make sure your muzzle is pointed in a safe direction at all times. Never, ever, ever pointed at anything you do not absolutely 100% destroy.
Yeah.
Want to destroy. So.
Yeah.
And there you have that, Mike. What do you think about that?
Randy wants to know, when's the next camping trip?
You know what? We need to, speaking of which, I need to, Mike.
We almost need to not wait till a year comes around to do that.
Yeah, we need, if we're going to do one, we need to do it soon, before it gets hot.
Yeah.
And before you get down.
Yeah. Hey, we've got, you know, I was texting somebody the other day, and they were golfing, so I actually wanted to use the word for, and I wasn't sure if it's spelled F-O-U-R or F-O-R-E. So I looked it up.
It's F-O-U-R.
No, it's not. It's F-O-R-E.
Really?
Yeah, it is. But that wasn't the interesting side note to this. You know, anytime you get on the internet, you never know where you're going to end up.
Right, yeah, it takes you into a plethora of directions.
So I'm looking for golfing, and I started to, you know, why do golfers yell for? Is what I was, you know, because
I had a hypothesis.
What's your hypothesis?
I thought they yelled for the stroke. You know, when they hit it, and like on your third stroke, you're like 3, and then you smacked it, and it's 4. You know, but we yell it when we're about to hit somebody in the head. So I assume
it is. It's similar to that. It's a warning.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a warning that your ball has gone astray.
Okay.
Is really what it's what it's for. But the interesting is, as I typed into Google, I thought, why do golfers? And the reply, you know, it's
right.
And I thought, well, this is interesting.
It has top recommendations.
Yeah. So I thought, what if, Rodney, if we went to google.com and we typed in fishing terms.
Right.
This is blind. I don't have anything planned here, okay?
Okay.
Like, why? Give me one. Let's just try one and let's just have some fun with it.
You want to do a why or what is?
What? Let's start with a why. Why?
Why do we fish?
We fish. Okay.
Okay.
So there we go. So I've got a list of worms.
Worms?
I just gave away answer number 4.
Okay.
Why do we fish with worms? I'm scratching that one off.
Okay.
Sorry, Rodney. So why do we fish? Fill in the blank.
Why do we fish on sunny days?
Nope. Let me give them to you, and then we'll do another one.
Okay.
Why do we fish farm? Why do we fish so much? Why do we fish for krill?
Okay.
With worms? Why do we fish on Good Friday? I never really would have.
And then it just gets really
sure.
crazy. Oh, okay.
So I thought this might actually be a fun game. So let's do a couple more.
Okay.
Because it might not be as fun as I thought it might be.
Okay.
But let's play.
I got you.
Why do bass?
There you go. Why do bass?
Okay. Give me one.
Feed at night? No? Nowhere on that list?
Nope.
Why do bass? Why do bass?
Well, first of all, I got to be honest. The first 4 filled it in with basset.
Oh.
Why do basset hounds howl? Why do bass hounds smell?
Why do largemouth bass?
Ooh.
Maybe that's the trick. Why do largemouth bass?
Largemouth bass. Okay, we got 5 answers, Rodney.
5 answers. Why do largemouth bass swim? Hey, it's Google. It doesn't know.
Really, Rodney?
Hey.
That's what you would guess?
It's
Why do they
number 1,
swim?
though,
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
Why do largemouth bass have black spots? That's one.
Why do largemouth bass eat ducks? No?
Jump.
Okay.
Because there'd be an answer for that, right? Obviously, I can hear you saying it already. Change colors? Do they change colors?
Yes, they do. They absolutely do.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, because they're real dark green, and then you put them in your live well, they change to a real light color, and you see their spots.
Really?
Amazingly. It's beautiful.
And then repeated the get black spots. And the last one is, why do largemouth bass have red lips? I'd never really noticed that.
I thought they were green. That's actually a good idea. Yeah.
Give me another one. Let's do one more.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Which fish grows? And the top answer would be?
The fastest.
That's what I would guess.
The second one is actually only 3 results for that, which is mind-blowing. Which fish grows a set of teeth in a week? Actually, there's only 2 because the last one, which fish grows fast?
Click on the fastest and see if it says mahi-mahi, dolphin, dorado. Does it give a fish?
Let's see. What type of fish grows fast? Fastest growing edible freshwater fish for ponds. How's that?
Okay.
No?
Or saltwater. It don't have anything for saltwater. You can try another
Let's
one.
just do the top one.
Yeah.
Top 7 aquaponic fish. What's aquaponic? Oh, yeah. Tilapia,
Okay.
trout, goldfish,
Yeah, we ain't eating
carp,
no goldfish.
catfish, koi, largemouth
Koi,
bass,
get it?
and conclusion. Oh, that's not a fish. That's the
Yeah.
bottom of the page.
How do you draw a conclusion? What's it look like when you draw?
What is going on? That'd be fun though. But actually,
yeah.
actually, Google has turned that into a Google Feud. If you ever do, if you go to googlefeud.com,
Right.
it's set up like the Family Feud where you get 3 strikes.
That's actually pretty cool.
Where it'll give you the topics,
Top
but
10
that's kind of a
answers on
fun
board,
game.
top
If you're looking
5.
for a free game online to play, you can play Google
That
Feud,
is
which is
pretty
pretty much
awesome.
that. I wish they had an outdoor one.
That would be awesome.
Send that in.
Mike, that's a good. I like that.
So what do we got coming up? Well, I guess we need to work on a camping trip again. So think about
maybe
that.
we need to work on the camp trip. And listen, Mike, I want to point out. Let's organize a concealed weapons class for all of you listening that do not have your concealed weapons license and are interested in taking a concealed weapons class. Shoot us an email on RodneyRogersOutdoors.com. Pick any of our emails. It'll go to Mike, me, or both of us, and give us kind of a count, and then we will organize a concealed weapons class. So I think that'd be an awesome thing. And I've got a guy that I think that will sponsor lunch for us.
I think that's a
And
phenomenal idea.
Maybe we'll do lunch and we'll go from there. So if you're interested, I'd like to have 30 people. I know we got 2, 3.
Yep.
I know I'm in, even though I already have mine. I would show up at the class anyway. Go ahead and pay my fees.
Yeah.
And show up no matter what, or I would be outside getting the dinner ready.
Because this is something I would like to do anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm sure I'm just one of many.
Absolutely. So if you're listening and you want to take a concealed weapons class, we'll be taking it in Kissimmee. So for some of you, it may be a drive for you. So just we'll set up a date.
Yeah, Rodney will pick you up.
I'll pick you up. You know what I mean?
There's your party in the back of your
There's
pickup
your party.
truck. Yeah.
So let's shoot for that.
Okay.
I'd like to. We can talk about another camping trip. We'll hash it out. We got some new shirts in camouflage. It's going to be very, very limited. We have large and extra large. I will tell you the large run really big. They are the fishaflage shirts. So basically, when you buy the shirt, it'll come with a hat or a visor. So like I said, it's very limited. So we'll get you a price, and I'll get those printed up with the Rodney Rogers Outdoors stuff.
Very cool.
It'll be black. The letters will be black.
Okay, good.
I just didn't think white would be really good on camo. Black seems like it might be better. What do you think?
Rodney knows best.
So let me just shoot. What do we got? What else we got? We got anything else?
Well, I think we got a clock that says about 0 minutes left on.
We're
that's
outta
what
here.
We got, yeah. So
Mike, you got anything?
I do. You know what? Let me leave you with this.
Oh, okay. Leave me with it. Or
An
just leave
entire
me.
ocean of water cannot sink the boat unless it gets inside the boat. Similarly, the negative of the world around you cannot bring you down unless you allow it to get inside of you.
Well said.
Thanks.
And as my mama said 18 trillion times, that's a lot. And I pray I get to say it half as much. You kids get outside and stay.